Hi, greetings, fellow hunters, and welcome to Supernatural Summer 2023. This month we'll be taking a look at season 3 of Supernatural. So let's kick things off with the very first episode of season 3, The Magnificent Seven. Beginning in Oak Park, Illinois, season 3 opens in a residential neighborhood just west of Chicago in Oak Park, giving a pan shot of the skyline in the background. A male resident is taking out a bag of trash. He pauses for a second as he approaches the sidewalk. A slight breathing sound is heard in the distance. He glances back at his car and continues walking to the curb. After placing the trash in the can, he starts walking back towards the house when he hears the trash cans rattling. He turns around and walks slowly towards them. The closer he approaches the cans, the faster and louder they rattle. Then the streetlights start to flicker and he looks up into the sky. A black cloud of demonic smoke starts to form alongside the moonlight. As the clouds inch closer to him, several strands of smoke break away from the cloud and shoot towards him. One of the strands knocks him onto the ground and enters through his mouth. After swallowing the smoke, the black demonic eyes appear inside the man. He gets up and looks into the sky, as smoke makes its way over the Chicago skyline and dissipates. Ooh. Anyway, at a motel in a location 1 week later, Sam is sitting inside the parked Impala, reading through ritual books on demons, trying to find any lead on breaking Dean free of the deal he made at the crossroads. Meanwhile, Dean himself is inside the motel getting laid with 2 hot chicks. Ooh. Bobby calls the boys and tells them about a possible lead on demonic omen outside of Lincoln, Nebraska. Only saints are crop failure and the cicada swarm, but is their only lead. Without further hesitation, the boys hit the road. Just as they Lincoln, Nebraska, the boys went with Bobby at the house of one of the latest victims, hoping to find more leads on the demon. They're surprised to find 3 dead, rotting bodies in the middle of the living room when they enter the door. There are no traces of sulfur or any signs of a demonic attack. If it is one, it is nothing like they've ever seen. Also at the house, there weren't a couple of longtime hunter friends of Bobby's, Isaac and Tamara, who were working this case as well. Later at Isaac and Tamara's house, Dean gets in touch with the coroner, who tells him that the cause of death for the whole family was dehydration and starvation, which doesn't make any sense because there was a fully stocked kitchen a few feet away. Isaac refuses to team up with the boys since they were the ones that let the Devil's Gate open up in the first place. Outside the house, a young female blonde suddenly peers out of the dense fog, looking suspiciously at the house, but she doesn't enter. Meanwhile, at a department store, the demon-possessed man from Oak Park walks into a local department store and approaches a random girl inside. He lays his hand on her and says, "Say, those are nice shoes," gesturing towards a woman examining a green pair of heels. The girl turns around, eyeing the heels, and agrees with him. She glances back and walks over to the woman with the shoes and says she wants them. When the woman refuses to give them to her, she makes a second attempt outside by her car. When the woman refuses to give up the shoes again, the girl grabs her and slams her face against the car windshield several times, causing her right eye to gouge out with blood, leaving her dead on the sidewalk. The girl grabs the pair of shoes and takes off. Later, after the cops arrive on the scene, Bobby and the boys show up, looking for signs of a demonic possession. They find no traces of sulfur at all. It seems as if that girl really just wanted those shoes. Taking a look at the surveillance tape, they see the possessed man approach the girl and decide to follow him as their next move. Outside the department store, the blonde girl who appeared outside Isaac and Tamara's house last night appears across the street, behind a tree. She seems to be taking a high interest in Sam. She follows Sam as he's walking down the block, but makes himself scarce before he turns around. Later that evening at a local bar, Bobby and the boys are parked outside a local bar where Walter Rosen, the demon-possessed man from Oak Park, likes to hang out. Rosen does indeed show up, but the boys are not ready to make a move yet, given they don't know what these demons are capable of. However, they run into an obstacle when Isaac and Tamara show up and walk inside. The 2 of them sit down at a table near the demon. A few minutes later, Rosen walks into the bathroom. As Isaac heads towards the bathroom, he is halted by another demon, and the 2 of them soon discover they are trapped in the bar by 7 demons. One of the demons lays his hand on Isaac with a bottle drink cleaner and insists that he take a drink. Under the influence of the demon, he chugs the bottle and immediately falls to the floor, coughing up chunks of blood. He soon dies. Bobby and the boys take the car and drive through the door to the bar. Inside, the demons start lashing at the demons with batches of holy water. Sam gets her into the car and Dean manages to get Rosen trapped inside the devil's trap in the trunk and they drive off. Back at the house, with Rosen tied in a chair in another devil's trap, Bobby, Timber, and the boys are trying to figure out what their next move is. Looking at one of the books, Bobby soon realizes they're up against the 7 deadly sins, who were discovered to be actual demons back in 1589 by Peter Binsfield. Tara wants to go back to the bar, but the boys convince her that's not a good move because they don't know what these demons are capable of. The 4 of them approach the demon in the next room, but don't manage to get much out of him. Without further hesitation, they send this demon straight back to hell, with Tamara doing the honors of exorcising him. Then there were 6. They realize that there's no way out of this and that the demons will be coming for them. They must fight and exorcise them all one by one. The 4 of them ready to hunt down the rest of the sins. Suddenly hear Isaac's voice calling out for Tamara from the distance outside. He approaches closer and closer to the house. Bobby keeps her calm by telling her that it's not Isaac, that one of the demons is possessing his corpse. When Isaac approaches the door, Tamara can't take it anymore and bursts the door, throwing Isaac to the ground. She stabs him with a wooden spike and then proceeds to exorcise the demon from Isaac's body. The 5 remaining demons enter the house. The demon sloth makes its way towards Bobby but falls immediately into another devil's trap. Bobby wastes no time exorcising it. Now down to just 4 demons, the demon of lust takes on Dean, while the remaining 3 work on Sam. Dean manages to lure the demon of lust into a bathtub full of holy water, knocking her out cold. Sam, however, has his hands full when he fails to trap the other 3 inside of Devil's Trap. Looking for him, the blonde girl comes to his rescue, slicing the 3 of them dead with a special knife. When Sam asks who she is, she replies, "I'm the girl that just saved your ass," and walks out of the room. The big questions on his mind are who is this girl and why is she helping him? What's on everyone's mind is what kind of knife she's using, because for the past 2 years, the boys haven't found any kind of knife that could stab a demon dead. The next morning, the boys lay all the dead demons' hosts in a hole, salt and burn them. The troubling question on everyone's mind is if they let out the 7 deadly sins, what else did they let out? Tamara and Bobby take off. Sam's just heading to Louisiana to visit this hoodoo priest Tamara told him about that might be able to help Dean get out of his demon deal. Dean refuses to go because if they try to trap the Crossroads demon anyway, Sam drops dead. Sam's about head and accuses Dean of being a hypocrite. After how torn apart Dean was when he found out that John sold for him, Sam can't believe that Dean would even think of doing the same thing for him. Dean explains to Sam that he's tired and sick of the job. "Sam, I've got a year left to live, so we say we kill some evil sons of bitches and raise a little hell." On that note, the boys drive off in the Impala on their next hunt. So let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. This is the first appearance of Ruby. Bobby Singer previously appeared in All Hell Breaks Loose Part 2. Less than a week has passed since the events of All Hell Breaks Loose Part 2. It's also the first appearance of Ruby's knife. And now finally, let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. The scene cuts to a CSI agent taking a photo of the bloody, broken windscreen. As it pans, you can hear an agent in the background say, "Better call Grissom," which is a reference to this television series CSI Crime Scene Investigators, the Great Shift CSI supervisor Gil Grissom. This episode marks the first time the show has had a third main cast member after Sam and Dean, that being Ruby. Season 3 was intended to have 4 with the later introduction of Bella. It is shown throughout the episode that demons could control humans with a touch, as evidenced by Envy controlling the woman and Glennie controlling Isaac. When Les touched Dean, however, he was able to lure her over to the bathtub, which was full of holy water. No explanation given for his immunity. It is echoed in My Bloody Valentine when he seems to be the only one not affected by famine. His explanation for that is that he is well fed. This is only one of 2 episodes when all the iris of the demon's eyes are black. The first such episode was Phantom Traveler. In other episodes, the whole demon's eyes are filled in. The shoes of the woman who was influenced by envy kills for are green. The color green is often associated with envy, or in other words, green with envy. This episode is the first time we see Bobby in anything other than his usual vest and trucker hat. The "pulling the electorate" line is a reference to The Simpsons. On that show, the local cops joke that Mayor Diamond Joe Quimby is pulling the electorate whenever he meets an attractive young woman for a motel room tryst. The quote, "Fat, drunk, and super similar to their life, son," is a direct quote from the movie Animal House. When Envy says, "I am legion, for we are many," this is a quote from the Bible when Jesus meets the Gerasene demoniac in Mark 5. Jesus asked him in Mark 5, Mark 5:9, "What is your name?" To which he replies, "My name is Legion, for we are many." See also Luke 8:30. Jesus cast him to herd of 2,000 swine, supplying there were 2,000 unclean spirits. Bible refers to Peter Binsfield's classification of demons prepared in 1589, in which the 7 deadly sins are associated with demons as follows: Lucifer, pride; Mammon, greed; Asmodeus, lust; Leviathan, envy; Beelzebub, gluttony; Satan, wrath; and Belphegor, sloth. The bar the demons are at is called the Old Terminal Pub. So overall, I think this is a pretty darn good way to start off the season, and yeah, those 7 daily sins were definitely something to deal with, but there you go. So yeah. So overall, I give The Magnificent Seven 4 Impalas out of 5. Anyway, tune in bed as we take a look at the next episode. The kids are all right. So, until then, carry on, my wayward sons and daughters.